The Plotcast podcast with the Potty Plotters.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Potty Plotters Plotcast. I'm Julia.
And I'm Elaine. You're not. You were going to say I'm Elaine. No, don't. But together we're known as the Potty Plotters.
Yeah. And if you've just found us, well, welcome and thank you for joining us. And if you like what you hear, please tell your friends about us.
And if you want to get in touch with us, don't forget we have got an Instagram, Facebook and Twitter account at Potty Plotters.
We've also got a website, pottyplotters.uk.
And if you want to write to us, you can email us if you like, naughtycorner at pottyplotters.uk. And one day we'll learn how to say that all together properly, won't we?
Without a sign telling us what to say.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Yeah, I have to write that bit down.
No.
Well, anyway, here we are. So we're on episode 16.
And a gentle reminder that if you like what you've heard, then please hit that follow or subscribe button or another button. And now it's getting very busy in allotment land.
It is, but today we are going to be talking to you about sweet peas, and we did those in episode 2, but by crikey, they've come on in leaps and bounds because it's the busiest time now on the allotment. And if you are growing your own, don't forget you don't have to have an allotment. You can do this in your garden, you can do it on a balcony, in tubs, you can do things in loads of different places, as long as you don't get caught.
And if you still want to do your own sweet peas, you can do them. You're not too late. A lot of people will say you're too late now, but no, we've got a quick fire method to do it. So listen to episode 2 and you'll soon get them started and you'll have some lovely sweet peas this summer.
You definitely will. And the beauty about doing it in that way, Julia, is that they don't take 5 minutes. I lied about the 5 minutes. They don't take very long at all to get going. So we only did these just a few weeks ago, and look at these now. So wow. I'm holding up. Look at this. Look at the roots coming through the bottom of these tubs. Look at that.
I was looking at your hair actually, but
Right, okay. Well, don't, Julia, because I'd rather you look at this. What are you looking at me hair for?
When you said roots.
Right. Sorry, it was all at the same time that I bent over. So, now then, look at this though.
That's lovely.
Now I've got roots. What happened was, after I germinated the seeds, like we did in episode 2, all I did was, as soon as they popped through, I put them into multi-purpose compost, into these plastic containers that are called plant pots, actually. It just disappeared out my mouth at that time. And here they are, about 3 inches, I would say, or 4 inches, and I put 5 in every one of them. Now, if I was really good at maths, I could do 5 times 6, which is about 30 that I've got in front of me. But these are ready now to be planted out. They're already in multi-purpose compost. Now then, you didn't see what I was up to this morning, Julia.
No.
You were very busy making tea for everybody else up here. But what I did was, I've got a huge tub, and this tub then can go anywhere. It can go on the plot. If you've got a balcony, it can go on the balcony. Or we could give it somebody who's perhaps got a garden. And these will grow tremendously. Now, the beauty about these is that they're dead easy, she says, to get out of this particular container, which are all these plant pots here. And then what I did was I filled the big tub half up with horse muck.
I wondered if you'd do that.
Yeah, I did it.
Why have you done that, Elaine?
Well, because I know that the sweet peas like a lot of moisture. They like to be in anything that is cooling, but they do like the moisture, and the horse muck will retain the moisture. So then what I've done is I've topped up the whole of the thing with multi-purpose compost. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to literally tip out, just get these, loosen the sweet peas, and that's what I've done. Then tip it upside down, and I say, lovely. I'm going to make a little hole in the bigger tub, which is really hard actually, Julia, when you're contained by a table, microphones, and wires everywhere. But I have done it. Don't worry about me. And don't put my roots either. Right then, so I've put in the first lot, and I'm going to carry on doing the rest of them.
Right.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some supports in. Now, we all need supports at different times, darling.
Aren't these big supports you're going to be putting in?
They are, but they're not going to be bamboo, because sweet peas don't attach themselves to bamboo. Oh. It's the netting that goes round the bamboo that they attach themselves to, or even string. So anything like apple cuttings, they're brilliant. When I say apple cuttings, I mean cuttings off the apple tree.
Yeah.
So the twigs, they love things like that. that are more robust and knobbly. Anything that they can hang on to, that's what they really like.
Right.
And so that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to take a picture of it and we're going to put it on our social media for people to look at.
Oh, listen, where are you going to keep that?
I'm going to put it at the moment inside the greenhouse. I'm going to get them well established so they're out of the way of the mice, and then I'm going to put it out on the plot or give it somebody who might like them.
Have you got to wait until the frosts have passed before you put
Well,
them
they
outside?
are quite hardy, and realistically, we haven't got any frost forecast now. You know, we're really nearly into May and onwards, so no, I'm okay with this.
Good. Oh, wait to see them then.
Contact the Potty Plotters anytime on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Potty Plotters, or email naughtycorner@pottyplotters.uk.
So, Elaine, this week, what have we been up to?
Well, I know it's the King's coronation and all that malarkey, but most importantly, it's World Naked Gardening Day. And if there's ever a time on an allotment that you can have some fun, this is the one. So anybody who does follow us on our social media channels, whether it be Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, I know that you'll have seen what we've been up to.
Well, we've done this for a couple of years, haven't
Yeah.
we? And normally when we see people during this week, people run in the opposite direction because you're demanding that they take their clothes off, aren't
I
you?
think there's an offence there somewhere, but I'm not sure what it is, so we'll just ignore it. But yes, it is funny because it looks like we're naked, but actually we're not. Although Ian did see the back end of us one year, which was a bit of a worry. He's over on pot 3 or 4, I'm not really sure. 4, 5 or 6.
Can you remember that
Anyway,
year that I went kind of
I do.
international, didn't I, in a compost bin naked, and picked up quite a following in the nudist community. So
it is worth it and it is fun.
It
And I know
is.
that a lot of people do it for charity.
Although what I can't work out is why they do it in May in this country, because it's not the warmest time, is it?
But that's what makes it more interesting.
The Plotcast Podcast with the Potty Plotters.
So Elaine, the next part of this episode, we're going to talk about cabbages.
Now, you are brilliant at growing cabbages, Julia. For me, it's a war zone out there. They get right on my nerves because there's so many things that you've got to protect them with. Sometimes I do wonder whether it's worth it, but it is worth it. And we want people to have a go. That's what this is all about.
Of course it's worth it. And I like a good hearty dinner, so I like things like cabbages, cauliflowers, broccoli, and today we're talking about cabbages, and there's a cabbage pretty much for every day of the year that you can grow.
That's lovely. I wouldn't be very nice though, would it really? Because Julia does have some terrible effects on me. I don't know about you. So if I had cabbage every day, hellfire, it'd be something. It would be a war zone. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I wasn't intending you to eat it every day, but we
right,
can get you
okay.
some charcoal tablets if you like. But you can grow that. There are spring cabbages, summer cabbages and winter cabbages. Don't know why there's none that's classed as autumn, but they obviously grow throughout the summer and you can keep them going. So what I've got in front of me, I've got some lovely Cabbages cabbages. It's one that I tried last year. It's a sweetheart kind of cabbage, but it's a red cabbage. So
Okay, so you eat it as a green cabbage
yeah, you
would
do.
be
You eat
eaten.
it as a green
Okay,
cabbage,
yeah.
and it's beautiful. And it
Does
grows.
it stay red when you cook it?
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's quite a crunchy cabbage that you can use in salads as well if you wanted to. So, and like I say, I had success with it, so I'm going to grow it again this year. And like you say, the problem with cabbages, or with any brassica really, the pigeons, the birds want it, the slugs want them when they're young, the cabbage white flies will come and get them. So it does take a lot of protection, but once you get them to a certain stage and you've covered them over, they're absolutely fine and they're not that complicated to grow.
No, definitely not. No.
And if you've got a neighbour like me who always grows too many, you don't need to grow your own, do you, Elaine?
Not really, no, but I agree with what you're saying, and that's the beauty of an allotment, in that we can share all of the things that we do grow, because invariably we grow too many of everything,
Yeah.
and then we're able to swap with our neighbours.
Yes.
That's what
yeah.
it's all about.
And with growing cabbages, you do need a bit of space. With any brassicas, they do take up quite a bit of room when you're growing them. And my plot is a bit bigger than yours, so there is room for them on my plot. What are you putting faces at me for?
You just got to say it, haven't you? Yours is bigger than mine.
Well, yours is full of flowers.
I know. Well, it is at the minute, but there'll be dahlias coming up in a little while as well. So I think that I've never eaten... Oh, I have eaten a dahlia. That's another podcast. Let me tell you that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was.
yeah.
Anyway, cabbages.
Cabbages. So you do need to make sure that you've got the correct spacing, and it's always important. We always say to people, make sure that you know the variety of things that you grow in, because that will determine the spacing. Because, of course, if you grow a big, solid, round-headed cabbage, you're going to need more space than if you grow a sweetheart
So have you
cabbage.
planned where you're going to put yours?
Yes, on the plot.
Well, I knew it was going to be on the plot, Julia. Give me credit. So whereabouts on the plot? So you've got lots of space already sorted for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be growing these on the no-dig side of the plot, but it's only because I've not got room on the other side. The main thing is that they've got moisture and they like a firm ground. Like any of the brassicas, they like a firm ground to be grown into. Now, one thing I would say with anybody who's growing cabbages or any kind of brassicas, look at this. We've probably got about 3,000 seeds. No, we've got 250 cabbage seeds in here. Now, I like cabbages, but I know that if I plant even 12 at the same time, I'm going to get 12 cabbages ready at the same time. I don't want that. So the important thing is that when you're sowing the seeds, only sow enough for what you think you can realistically eat within a certain time frame. So within about a month, you know, how many cabbages are you realistically going to eat?
That's like a competition. How many cabbages can you eat?
It's like Guinness Book
That
of
could
World
actually make a
Record
telly
thing.
programme, couldn't it? That would be dead funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I don't want to join
So
in.
I would hazard that I would probably eat about 6 within a month. We've got a lot of cabbage eaters in the family. And but what I will do is I will sow extra seeds just in case one or two of them don't come up. So I'll probably sow about 10 seeds. And we've just got the tray of multi-purpose compost as we normally have. It's a recycled tray, 3/4 of the way full with compost. I've got the cabbage seeds here. They're very small. They're almost like the size of poppy seeds.
Aren't they? Yeah.
And I'm just going to space them out in the tray. I'm going to space them about 1 inch apart. And the reason I'm doing that is so that when we come to prick them out later on, it's easy to get the root system out, and I'm not going to be breaking root systems. And I'm going to plant about 10 of these seeds. And then what I will have is there'll probably all 10 of them come up, to be honest with you. But even if I get extras, then I'll just pass them on because I don't want more than 6 at a time. So
And then you'll keep them in the greenhouse?
keep them in the greenhouse till they've grown on, and then we'll prick them out. I'll slowly harden them off, although by the time these are ready to go out, it'll probably be warm enough. And then I'll plant them on the plot, and we'll talk about how we cover them and protect them from all the beasties that want them.
Well, Julia, that was commendable. I mean, you're so neat and tidy with everything, and I have watched you. Yeah. I think I've just watched you plant those cabbages on top of the beetroot that you've just done. So what would you get if you crossed a cabbage with a beetroot?
Not put them in the same one, you daft bat. The others are soaking in the tray. These ones are separate. I don't know what you'd get. I mean, this is a red cabbage anyway, so I'm going to end up with a red cabbage. But no, pay attention.
I'm going for a lie down.
Contact the Potty Plotters anytime on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Potty Plotters, or email naughtycorner@pottyplotters.uk.
So, Julia, we ask people all the time about if you've got any questions or contact us and blah, 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 blah. Well, Richard has actually contacted me.
Oh, yes.
He certainly has. And he said, why are my cabbages leggy?
Well, that sounds like a problem of too much heat to me.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds because really cabbages and brassicas don't need any excess heat. So if you've been putting them on your windowsill underneath your radiator, it's too much. And also they're kind of obviously leaning towards the window to look for the sun. So just move them outside really to slow them down. If they've gone too leggy, and I mean really thin and spindly, chuck them away and start again. Some people will bury them up to the leaves. I just start all over again. Because
and it is worth it, isn't it?
Well, there's no point in having a compromised plant. You want a strong plant when you start off with. There's enough challenges out there when you're planting and growing things. So have a healthy plant to start off with. Don't put put something that's on its knees in before you even start.
So, Richard, if you can find the knees of your brassicas, what I would suggest is you remove them, sort them out and start all over again. It's a singing thing, I can't help it.
Hints and tips for shortcuts to success. The Potty Plotters Plotcast.
Julia, you just mentioned about the light. Now, at the moment, we've got the longest days that are coming up and they're absolutely full of light, which is brilliant for all of our plants.
Yeah.
Any hints and tips about that for our seedlings?
Yeah, well, a lot of people will grow on windowsills because they've not got any greenhouse or any other facilities to grow. And what will happen is they'll notice that the plants bend towards the sunshine out the window. So all you need to do is rotate your tray or your plant pot every day. That's what I do. Turn it every day and it just gets it to train the other way, and eventually it kind of straightens itself out.
It is a funny thing because I think it's the most exercise. You know, when people talk about all this steps and all that thing. Yeah. Well, what I do is I actually walk in and out of every room and turn all of the plant pots and all of the trays every day. That's how I get my steps in.
You're good, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but there's about only 34 of them, but that's not bad, is it, really?
How does that equate to that chocolate biscuit you've just had?
Who cares?
And in the next episode, we'll be planting parsnips into your plot.
We certainly will. I'm so excited. I mean, I love and adore. There's not a lot I don't love and adore, really.
You like
I don't
eating,
like
don't you?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, anything to do with food, drink, anything like that, I really love. But we're going back to the parsnips, and you will be amazed as to how big they've already grown, actually. Yeah.
And I'll be planting the leeks onto the plot that we did in episode 6 because they're a nice size now, so I want to get them into my plot.
And there's a knack as to how to plant leeks properly, and not everybody knows that.
No.
Until then,
bye from us.
The Plotcast Podcast with the Potty Plotters is an Amberland Media production.